guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Vlogmas episode 19. 19? It is 19. It's 19. It's definitely 19. Here on the channel we are doing Vlogmas with a twist. We are doing a Disney tip for traveling around Disney parks around the world every day in December all the way up until Christmas Day. And today we are talking about, oh wait, I forgot again. We are talking about stuff to do in queues. Oh, this is really awesome. We're talking about stuff to do in queues today, which is one of my favorite topics and can be applied to any Disney park. So let's go. So I think there is something a little bit wrong with me because I don't actually mind queuing. I was going to say that I do like queuing, but that might not actually be true. I don't think I like queuing. I don't think it's something that I wake up and be like, oh, I'd really like to queue today. But I don't mind queuing, and I've done some pretty crazy queues. I think the longest queue I've done is for 3.5 hours for the one of the Harry Potter rides at Universal Studios in Osaka. That was in Osaka in Japan. But in Disney I don't think I've ever queued for anything more than 2 hours, and I've done much longer queues than that for releases of Harry Potter books or for things at Anime Expo. Yeah, I think I've done a 12-hour queue before. Actually I think for Harry Potter, for Harry Potter I think I did a 12-hour queue. But yeah, so I don't mind queuing, and one of the reasons why I don't mind queuing is because I bring stuff to do. Now I know that some people have some anxiety issues which are tied to queuing. I think a lot, you know, when you queue you're in quite an enclosed space, there's not many places for you to go, and there's a lot of people there. So I think for some people they have some kind of things that they have to deal with which I don't have. So I respect that for everyone this doesn't quite work, but for those of you that just hate queuing because it's just sheer boredom, here are some cool things that we like to do in the queues which you might find quite interesting. So first of all, we have some common games that you've probably heard of because they're card games or common games that you play in queues, and those are things such as A to Z and Animal, Vegetable, Mineral. I think Animal, Vegetable, Mineral has different names in different places. I'll explain it and you guys can tell me what those other names are. The Animal, Vegetable, Mineral, 20 questions. Lots of people call it 20 questions, although we don't really stick to the 20 questions rule. Somebody in your party will think of something and then you will tell the other people in your party whether it is an animal, which could be a human or an animal, a vegetable, which is probably something, which is a foodstuff, so any foodstuff, or a mineral, which is any object. Now we set a rule in our Animal, Vegetable, Mineral game, which is that all of the things must come from Disney movies or Disney parks also permitting. So you can have things like the mirror from Beauty and the Beast, a lamp from Aladdin, or you can have characters like Roquefort from Aristocats or Maleficent. That would be kind of an obvious one, I guess. The A to Z game is everybody in your party takes it in turns to list something which is you know, sort of strict to a category, but they must go in order of the alphabet. So again, we usually say that our A to Z rules are Disney, or that maybe just Disney movies or just Disney parks. And so we go round in an order listing things from Disney movies or Disney parks. So let's take Disney movies. For A, I could say Aladdin, and then for B, Liam could say Baloo, and for C, my brother could say Cinderella, and then we just keep going around and around. The next one is probably my favourite game to play in the parks at the moment because it just seems to eat time. Whatever queue I've stayed in, and when I played this game, they just seem to have gone so quickly and you get so animated about it and really, really excited. We've actually had people watching us play this game when I've been in queues playing it, and that is Heads Up. Now you don't really need to have a phone to play this game. You could just play it with pen and paper, but the phone game does help because it comes with a set amount of things. Now the idea is you select a deck from the ones that they have available, and I have the Disney Parks deck. Then one of the people in your party places the phone sort of on their forehead. Usually we don't really do this, we just hold it about here, and then they don't look at it. The rest of the party looks at it, and what they have to do is to read what's on the screen, describe it to that person, and then that person has to guess what it is. So I obviously demonstrating to you and nobody else is here right now. So it says Sven on the phone right now, so if I was describing this to somebody else, I might say, oh, it's the reindeer that Kristoff hangs out with in Frozen, and so then that person would guess Sven, and so they would fold down to say yes, or they fold up if they need to skip it for any reason, like you don't know what it is. So the next one is hidden Mickeys. Now obviously I wouldn't be able to say Mickey, so I might say something like secret 3-circle shapes that you find dotted around Disney parks, and hope that that the person who's guesses hidden Mickey, and then they get another point. After a minute it will tell you how many you got right, and then you can keep going round. So the one thing about this game is I don't know if anybody actually wins it, because I don't know if you get good points for being a good describer, or you get good points for being a person who guesses. It seems like it's more of a collaborative game than it makes out. At the end it'll tell you what you got right, what you missed, and what you got wrong, and you keep going round until you hit the front of the queue, and you'll find that the time goes really quickly. Now a few Super Disney fans might like our next few games, and the first one is what we call What If, not very imaginative title. To play What If, we take a Disney movie and kind of a very sort of strong storyline item from that movie and say what if it was different. So for instance, what if Ariel had not witnessed the sinking of Eric's ship that day? What if Marie and the kittens hadn't ran into Thomas O'Malley? Or what if Aladdin hadn't been the diamond in the rough? I guess there wouldn't be so much of a movie then. Anyway, you get the point. The best questions that work for what if are things that seem to happen by accident inside of a Disney movie that have a dramatic impact on what happens later on in the film. And so you want to find those sort of chance encounters and say, you know, what would happen if that thing didn't happen. A great example again would be what if Dory hadn't met Marlin, or Marlin hadn't met Dory? What would the outcome of the film be? That might be a sad one. And sometimes they are sad, but sometimes you find that even though a chance encounter didn't happen, or this thing didn't happen, that the character's will would have gone that way anyway. So for Ariel, not witnessing Eric's ship sinking may not have had that big an impact, because she still wanted to go to the land, so she probably would have just found another way. So anyway, that could start a big debate, which could take you to the front of the queue, and you'll forget about even queuing in the first place. I've done that plenty of times. My last favourite thing to play in queues is wannabe Imagineers. So with all the money in the world and all the space in the world, what you would do to create the most perfect Disney park. Now I'm still concocting mine in my head and I want to draw it out, so we'll do that another time. But we've thought about sort of other versions of the Little Mermaid ride where it actually happens inside of a massive fish tank, and long flume rides based off of Emperor's New Groove, and some people have said same type of thing for Pocahontas, which would be fantastic. I completely agree. So Wannabe Imagineers is fun. You can also think about not just what rides you would like, but also what whole parks you would like what kind of whole park would you like to see. In Disney Tokyo, they have the Tokyo Disney Sea Park where everything is mildly themed of water. And so what kind of thing would you create if you were an Imagineer with cash to burn and the space to just go wild? So anyway, this is it. I hope you guys found this useful. For beginner entry into games in park queues, go for Heads Up. It's a really good thing to waste a lot of time, especially if there's lots of you. If you are by yourself, do a lot of Instagramming because we all like to look at Instagrams of Disney parks. If you're by yourself, you've got loads of time to do it. So thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you all for Vlogmas episode 20 tomorrow. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.